Hello, dear friend. What a blessing it is to sit here with you in this quiet moment. Imagine us together on a soft summer morning, the kind where the breeze rustles the leaves just enough to keep you company. Maybe you're on your porch with a warm mug of chamomile, or perhaps by the back window watching birds dip between blooms. The world outside is gently humming, and in this stillness there's something stirring inside you, a little whisper that says, "Let's make something beautiful today." And the best part, you don't need a big wallet or a young body to make it happen. All you need is a bit of curiosity, a few things from the Dollar Tree, and a little imagination, which, as you and I both know, only grows stronger with age. Some folks think elegance requires money. But I know, and I believe you know too, that real beauty comes from care. From loving what's already around us. From picking up what others might throw away and saying, "You still have purpose." Today, I want to share with you some wonderful, soul-satisfying summer ideas. Garden treasures made from everyday things, a spoon, a soda bottle, a crate, even a handful of old CDs. Things we once tucked away in drawers or thought were bound for the bin. But now they're waiting for a second life. These are garden projects that won't make your backache or your budget weep. They're simple enough to do on a quiet afternoon and lovely enough to make your neighbors smile when they pass by. So whether you're working with a patio, a small front porch, or just a sunny windowsill, you can turn your space into something magical. Let's begin this journey together. Let's turn thrift into charm and simplicity into elegance. And remember, dear one, your hands still create beauty. Your care still grows things. And your garden, just like you, is full of second chances. Now let's begin with our very first idea, shimmering CD wind spinner. Do you remember how much fun it was to build things as a kid? Maybe it was Lincoln Logs, a cardboard dollhouse, or a soda can spaceship. There's a joy in assembling something from scraps and giving shape to a little world that never existed before. That same spirit is what makes this next garden idea so special: tin can robot sculptures. They're playful, creative, and full of charm. And best of all, they're made almost entirely from items you might already have: tin cans, wire hangers, old nuts and bolts, and a bit of imagination. Start by gathering a variety of clean, empty tin cans. You'll want a few sizes, maybe a soup can for the body, a smaller tomato paste can for the head, and even larger ones for legs or feet. Lay them out and start imagining your robot's personality. Will it be tall and proud, short and quirky? Next, collect some Dollar Tree hardware bits, nuts, bolts, washers, and anything else that catches your eye. These become the buttons, eyes, and little details that bring your robot to life. You'll also want some sturdy wire-old hangers, work great, and a hot glue gun or strong adhesive. Begin by gluing the cans together, one for the body, one for the head, maybe two short ones as legs. Use wire hangers bent into shape for arms, or let bolts dangle like playful elbows. Washers make wonderful eyes, and nuts stacked together become the cutest little antennae or hats. This project is low effort but high reward, the kind of thing you can build over an afternoon with your hands and your heart. There's no need for precision. In fact, the more uneven or unexpected your robot turns out, the more personality it has. Once assembled, you can leave your creation as is, silver and industrial, or give it a quick coat of metallic spray paint in copper or bronze. If you're feeling extra whimsical, add a bit of color to the cheeks or eyes with acrylic paint. Now choose a home for your new garden companion. Maybe it sits beside a flower pot on the porch. Maybe it peeks out from between your daisies. Wherever it goes, it brings a touch of humor and a lot of heart. Visitors will smile. Children will ask questions. You'll find yourself pausing to give it a little nod as you water the plants. Because this robot isn't just a decoration. It's a reminder that you're still creative, still playful, still able to bring joy out of what others might overlook. And like many of us, it's made of things that once had another purpose. Things that might have been forgotten but were instead brought back together piece by piece into something new. Something that stands, something that smiles, something that reminds us it's never too late to build something wonderful. Next, we'll shift toward function and calm with a hanging mesh tool organizer. A clever way to keep your gardening tools within reach, using items so light and affordable they'll feel like magic. Remember when we used to make mobiles out of old greeting cards or holiday ornaments? There was something so comforting about watching them sway, little bits of joy, twirling gently in the breeze. Today's project brings that same feeling back, but with a shimmer that dances in the summer sun. Let's start with something you might already have tucked away: old CDs or DVDs. You know, the ones that once held music or memories now scratched or forgotten in a drawer. They may not play anymore, but oh, do they shine. To make this spinner, gather up a few of those old discs or grab a pack from Dollar Tree if you're out. You'll also want a plastic clothes hanger, the kind you might have once used in your hallway closet, and a hot glue gun. Now, here's the fun part. Carefully cut the CDs into small geometric shapes: triangles, squares, strips, whatever feels right. The pieces don't need to match. In fact, the more variety, the more it catches the light like stained glass. If your hands aren't steady, or you'd rather skip the cutting, simply leave the discs whole. They'll still sparkle. Next, glue your pieces onto the hanger, spacing them out like a gentle cascade. Vary the lengths with thread or fishing line, letting each one dangle freely. As the wind passes, they'll twist and spin, throwing tiny rainbows across your garden wall or patio chair. You can hang it by the door under a shaded pergola, or even from the branch of a tree where sunlight filters through the leaves. It doesn't need to be perfect. The charm is in its shimmer, not its symmetry. This project is ideal if you're looking for something light on the body. You can sit comfortably at the table to craft it, and once it's done, simply hang and enjoy. There's something soothing about watching light reflect and shift like the stories of our own lives. A little cracked, a little bent, but still catching the light in the most unexpected ways. So when someone asks where you got such a lovely garden spinner, you can smile softly and say, "Oh, that's just some old things I had lying around." Still useful, just like us. Next up, Sunburst Spoon Spinner, a burst of color made from the humblest of kitchen cast-offs. Do you remember the days of setting the table for Sunday dinner? The clink of spoons against porcelain, the sound of laughter rising above mashed potatoes and sweet tea. Those little utensils we once used to serve others can still serve us now, not at the table, but in the garden. This next idea brings a bold burst of color and a dash of childhood playfulness: the Sunburst Spoon Spinner. Start by gathering plastic spoons from Dollar Tree. Any color will do, but white gives you a blank canvas. Then take an old plastic soda bottle from the recycling bin and a can of vibrant spray paint: sunshine yellow, ruby red, or even a cheerful turquoise. Choose something that brings a smile just by looking at it. First, snip off the spoon heads from their handles. This is easier than it sounds and can be done sitting down with a good pair of craft scissors or garden shears. Next, grab your soda bottle and make sure it's clean and dry. Now, using a hot glue gun, begin to attach the spoon heads around the bottle in layered circles, one ring after another, like the petals of a sunflower. Each layer will overlap slightly, radiating outward in a soft burst. You don't have to be exact. Think of it like nature, beautiful in its irregularity. Once all the spoons are in place and the glue is dry, give the whole sculpture a good coat of spray paint. That's when the magic happens. Suddenly, your simple plastic pieces transform into a bold, artistic flower that seems to bloom right off the bottle. When you hang this spinner perhaps on your porch railing or from a shepherd's hook in your flower bed, it will catch the light sway in the breeze and add a burst of energy to your space. And just like the CD spinner, this project is easy on the body. No lifting, no digging. You can build it from a comfy chair with your feet up and then simply enjoy the reward. What's so lovely about this spoon Sunburst isn't just the color or shape, it's the story behind it. A recycled soda bottle, leftover spoons, a $5 transformation. It reminds me of how we age, not fading away, but growing bolder, more unique, more radiant with each season. Because sometimes what the world calls trash still knows how to shine. Next, we'll slow things down with something earthy and textured: the twine-wrapped basket planter, rustic, elegant, and oh so easy to make. Do you remember those big old picnic baskets we used to lug around to the park, full of potato salad? A blanket, maybe a transistor radio. There's something about woven texture that makes us feel grounded, connected to the past, to nature, to simpler days. This next idea brings that feeling home again. It starts with something surprisingly humble: a plastic laundry basket from Dollar Tree. The kind you might have once used for folded towels, now given a second chance. Add to that a roll of jute twine, also from Dollar Tree, and a few flexible strips cut from a clean recycled milk jug. This project is as gentle and rhythmic as it is beautiful, perfect for an afternoon spent on the porch or by a sunny window. Begin by turning the basket upside down and anchoring the end of your twine with a dab of hot glue at the very base. Then slowly start coiling the twine around the basket, working your way up in steady spirals. Each loop adds softness and texture, turning plastic into something that looks handmade and rustic. Every so often, weave in a plastic strip from your milk jug, gently threading it through a few rows of twine before continuing. These little accents give it a subtle dimension and even a touch of strength. If your hands aren't nimble, don't worry. You can simply glue the strips between layers instead. It'll look just as lovely. Keep going until the entire basket is covered, leaving the inside untouched so it can still hold a planter or flower pot easily. You might line it with a bit of landscape fabric or even a grocery bag to keep soil contained, but even as a decorative outer shell, it already feels special. Now comes the joy choosing what to plant. This kind of container is perfect for trailing plants like ivy or petunias, or even a fragrant little herb garden. Place it on a patio step by your front door or in a courtyard nook where it can greet the sun and your guests with grace. What's beautiful here isn't just the end result. It's the process. Wrapping twine slowly, patiently, weaving your story into every circle. It's meditative, almost like stitching a memory into something new. And what do we learn in doing this? That texture and character don't come from being new. They come from layers, from time, from being touched and reshaped, just like us. So if you've got an old basket, some string, and a little bit of afternoon light, you've got everything you need to make something beautiful. Next, we'll turn to a more modern touch, the concrete look plaster planter, adding quiet elegance to any garden corner with just plaster, a dollar store bin, and a little creative flair. There's a quiet kind of beauty in things that look like stone. Something timeless. Something that feels grounded, steady, and serene, much like the wisdom that comes with age. You don't have to lift real concrete to bring that feeling into your garden. In fact, with this next project, you can create the look of an elegant stone planter using just a few simple lightweight items. Let's begin with a plastic wastebasket from Dollar Tree. Any shape will do, though one with clean, simple lines works especially well for this. You'll also need a bag of Dollar Tree's plaster of Paris and a bit of old newspaper, the kind that once lined drawers or caught drips beneath paint cans. Start by preparing your workspace. This project can get a little messy, but in a good, creative way. Lay down your newspaper, put on a pair of gloves if you like, and mix the plaster according to the instructions on the bag. The consistency should be smooth, but not runny like thick cream. Now comes the transformation. Using a wide paintbrush, spoon, or even just your hands, begin applying a thin, uneven coat of plaster over the outside of the basket. You're not aiming for perfection here. Let it be a little rough in places. Let the texture show. These imperfections are what give it the stone-like effect. As it dries, the plaster hardens into a subtle weathered surface that looks and even feels like concrete. And yet it's still lightweight, easy to move, and gentle on the body. There's no hauling heavy pots around the garden. Once fully dry, you can leave it as is or give it a gentle whitewash with watered-down acrylic paint to soften the tone. If you'd like a bit more flair, a dry brush touch of bronze or charcoal can add depth without taking away that minimalist charm. Set this planter on your front porch near a walkway or beside a bench where you like to sit. Fill it with ornamental grasses, a tidy mound of succulents, or a soft fern that brushes in the breeze. The effect is subtle, elegant, the kind of beauty that doesn't shout but whispers. And maybe that's what speaks to us most at this stage in life. We don't need things that sparkle to feel alive. We need spaces that reflect who we are, now calm, quietly strong, deeply rooted. This planter reminds us that it's not about what something was made of, but how it was made. With care, with intention, with the quiet hope that something simple can become something meaningful. So the next time you walk past a plain bin at the store or see a bag of plaster sitting on a dusty shelf, think of the garden it might become a part of, the story it might carry, the hands yours that will shape it into something lovely. Next, let's bring in a bit of organization with heart. We'll craft stamped spoon garden markers, giving every herb and bloom a name and every plant a touch of personality. Isn't there something sweet about giving names to the things we grow? It's like forming a friendship. "That's Rosemary," we say. Or, "Oh, that one's my lavender. She's a little shy this year." Naming plants gives them presence like members of the household. And today, we'll make something simple and lovely to help honor those green companions stamped spoon garden markers. This project begins with something that might be hiding in the back of your silverware drawer, a few old metal spoons. If you don't have extras at home, Dollar Tree sells affordable sets. And don't worry, these spoons don't have to match. In fact, the more character, the better. You'll also need a small hammer, a towel, and either metal letter stamps or a sharp nail. For the stand, we'll use a wooden dowel or even a smooth stick from the yard. To start, fold a towel on a firm surface and lay your spoon bowl down on top. Gently tap it with the hammer until the bowl flattens. It won't take much force, just a steady hand and a bit of patience. This can be done seated at a table with a quiet rhythm like shelling peas or folding laundry. Once flat, you can either press in your plant names using letter stamps, one tap per letter, or carefully etch them with a nail or metal awl. You might write basil, mint, tomatoes, or even something whimsical like bee balm or joy. The choice is yours. Now, attach each spoon to a wooden stick with glue or wire, creating a gentle, upright marker. These are perfect for placing in raised beds, container pots, or even small kitchen gardens. You could stop there, or if the mood strikes, paint the spoons in cheerful pastel shades, or wrap the handles in twine for a bit of rustic charm. What makes this project so comforting is its blend of the old and the new. A spoon that once stirred coffee now whispers the name of your marigolds. A branch that once held leaves now holds space for thyme and sage. And if your handwriting wobbles a bit, or your letters come out crooked, that's perfectly fine. These aren't meant to be perfect. They're meant to be real. Like laugh lines, like well-worn hands. Like gardens themselves, always a little wild and always full of life. As you press each letter into the metal, you may find yourself thinking not just of plants, but of people. Names that meant something, meals shared, lives tended. Because the truth is, we don't just plant things in soil, we plant memories too. And these little markers, they're just our way of saying, you matter. I see you. You're growing. Next, we'll continue with more personality and charm-making wine cork washer tags for potted plants, a clever way to label herbs while upcycling in style. Let's stay with the spirit of labeling and honoring our garden friends, but this time with a softer, cozier touch. If the last idea was elegant and vintage, this next one leans rustic and warm. Wine cork washer tags. Now I know some of us have a little basket somewhere filled with wine corks, perhaps from dinners, shared anniversaries marked, or simply quiet evenings when we toasted to the day. There's something sentimental about them, isn't there? Each one holding a story. And now they can hold another purpose too. To begin, gather a few corks. Real cork works best, but the synthetic kind will do in a pinch. From Dollar Tree, you'll want to pick up a few small metal washers and a reliable permanent marker. If you don't have those on hand, any small metal disc or even buttons could work. First, carefully slice the corks into discs about a 1/4 inch thick. Take your time with this, a kitchen knife will do, and you can always rest your hand a moment between cuts. This is a project best done unrushed with a bit of soft music or birdsong in the background. Once you've made your discs, write the names of your plants on each one using your marker. You might label basil, parsley, thyme, or even use fun titles like Sun Lovers or Needs Water Today. Don't be afraid to add little hearts, doodles, or dates. Now attach a small washer to the top of each disc using a dab of hot glue. This adds both weight and a charming metallic contrast. The washer also makes it easy to thread string or twine through if you'd like to hang your tags from pots or small stakes. These tags work beautifully in herb gardens, especially in balcony pots or kitchen windowsill planters. You can tie them gently to a bamboo skewer, hang them from a plant hook, or simply place them at the base of the soil like a decorative label. And what do they remind us of? That something small can be meaningful. That something saved to cork a washer a little time can be transformed into something thoughtful and useful. Just like us, they have more to give. You might even find joy in making these with a grandchild or a neighbor. Imagine gifting a small potted herb complete with a cork tag that reads, "From my garden to yours." It's not just a plant. It's a piece of yourself offered with kindness. These tags are gentle, low effort, and require no bending, no digging. Just a few soft moments at the table, turning forgotten bits into something full of life and personality. Because in this season of life, we learn over and over that the simplest things often bring the most joy. Next, we'll light up the evening with soft glows and garden magic, starting with glass gem solar lanterns that sparkle long after the sun goes down. Have you ever sat out in the garden just after dusk when the sky turns that deep, peaceful blue? There's a hush that falls, a soft pause before the stars appear. It's in those moments that the garden seems to hold its breath, and lighting it gently brings it back to life, like poetry written in glow. Today, we'll make something that feels like catching a bit of that twilight magic in a jar: glass gem solar lanterns. Start with a simple glass jar from Dollar Tree. It can be round or square, big or small, anything with a lid. You'll also need a solar pathway light, also available at Dollar Tree, and a couple bags of those beautiful flat glass gems. You've probably seen them before. They look like drops of water caught in time. Now remove the solar top from its stake. That's the part that collects the sun's energy during the day. You won't need the rest of the fixture, just the solar cap. Next, take your glass jar and begin gluing the glass gems all around the outside. Use a hot glue gun or strong craft adhesive, whatever your hands feel most comfortable with. You can do this while seated at the table, sipping tea, or listening to soft music. There's no rush. Place each gem like a little note in a song. As you go, you'll see the jar begin to change. It catches the light differently. Even before it's lit, it sparkles. And once the jar is fully covered and the glue is dry, nestle the solar cap into the lid space. If it fits snugly, perfect. If not, a little glue around the edge will hold it secure. Now comes the joy. Find the perfect spot for your new lantern. Maybe along the garden path, beside a flower pot, or scattered across the patio table like glowing fireflies. During the day, the sunlight charges the lantern quietly. At night, it begins to glow soft and steady. Not too bright, just enough to say, "I'm still here." You can make several of these and group them together for a cozy effect. Or tuck one into a quiet garden corner as a gentle beacon, a little guiding light through the stillness. It's a project that asks so little from us, just a jar, some gems, a little patience, and gives back something truly magical. And perhaps that's a lesson in itself. We often think that the biggest joys come from grand gestures or expensive things. But here, a $2 lantern glows with all the beauty of a star. And you made it. With your own hands. With care. Because no matter the season of life, we still carry light. We still create warmth. And in the evening garden, when everything else rests, these little lanterns are your quiet, shimmering hello. Next, we'll keep that nighttime magic going with a charming DIY perforated tin can lantern, starry light patterns made from the simplest of recycled pieces. Do you remember camping trips or maybe backyard evenings with nothing but the moonlight and a firefly or two for company? There's something deeply calming about flickering light on a summer night. It slows the world down, invites reflection, makes you feel young and old all at once. With this next idea, we're bringing that same gentle glow into your garden with perforated tin can lanterns. They're rustic, they're poetic, and best of all, they're made from what others might throw away. Start by saving a few tin cans from your pantry: soup cans, veggie cans, even coffee tins if you like a larger size. Clean them well and remove the labels. Then here's a little trick that makes everything easier. Fill each can with water and place them in the freezer overnight. Why? Because when the water freezes solid, it gives the can structure so you can gently hammer without denting it. It's one of those smart little tips passed down from the clever hands of homemakers before us. Once frozen, wrap a towel around the can and place it on a sturdy surface. Then, using a hammer and a thick nail, carefully tap holes into the metal. You can make swirling patterns, stars, hearts, or even write short words like hope or bloom. Let your creativity guide you. You don't need perfect symmetry. The charm lies in the handmade nature of each tiny star-shaped beam. After you've finished your design, let the ice melt and dry the cans thoroughly. Then drop in a Dollar Tree battery-operated LED tea light, or if you prefer a steady warm flicker, choose a flameless candle with a timer. When you place these lanterns on your patio steps, along a walkway, or nestled among flower pots, they cast the most magical patterned shadows. It's like watching a little galaxy settle softly over your garden. And the process is therapeutic. There's a rhythm to it. Tap, pause, tap. Like embroidery with light. And all the while, you're not just making a lantern. You're making a memory. A calm, mindful afternoon spent with purpose. Physically, it's senior-friendly too. The work is gentle-seated and can be done with breaks and comfort. You're not lifting, bending, or rushing, just creating quietly and beautifully. These lanterns remind us that with just a bit of care and intention, even something as plain as a soup can be turned into something timeless. Isn't that the very heart of what we do when we garden? We take the ordinary dirt seed water and turn it into something breathtaking. And so with these little lanterns, you're not just adding light to your garden, you're adding soul. A reminder that even in darkness, even with humble beginnings, something beautiful can still shine. Next, we'll brighten things up with bold, modern flair bottle Cap Geo Wall Art, turning discarded lids into colorful garden sculptures you'll be proud to display. Do you ever open a soda bottle and think that little cap's too nice to throw away? You're not alone. There's something satisfying about the feel of it. The color, the click, the clean shape. Small, yes, but full of possibility. And today, we're turning those overlooked bottle caps into a bold piece of art for your outdoor space. This project is called Bottle Cap Geo Wall Art, and it's as cheerful and striking as a summer quilt fluttering on a line. Except here the fabric is color, the thread is glue, and the canvas just a simple Dollar Tree foam board. First, gather a good number of plastic bottle caps in assorted colors. If you don't drink sodas often, you can collect them from friends or grab a mixed bag from Dollar Tree. Bright reds, greens, yellows, blues. The more variety, the better. You'll also need one foam board, a can of black spray paint, and a hot glue gun. Start by laying your foam board flat and giving it a quick, even coat of black spray paint. Why black? Because it makes the colors pop. It creates depth and drama like a gallery wall in the garden. Let it dry fully while you sip a bit of lemonade or enjoy the sunshine. Once dry, it's time to play. Arrange your bottle caps in geometric patterns, squares, diamond stripes, or even an abstract burst like a sunbeam. You can follow a plan or simply go with what feels right. Some might prefer a soft rainbow arc, others a playful scatter. Then glue each cap into place with care. No need to rush, this part is wonderfully relaxing and easy to do seated. You'll feel a little like a mosaic artist placing each bright piece with intention. When finished, you can mount the artwork to a courtyard wall, a fence panel, or even lean it against a garden shed. It's weather-resistant enough for a covered porch and light enough to move or swap out whenever inspiration strikes. The result is joyful, a splash of color where you least expect it. And perhaps most delightful of all, it turns the tiniest bit of plastic into something meaningful. Just like us, these caps have done their first job. They sealed, they served. And now in a new life, they shine again, not by being perfect, but by being seen. This kind of art reminds us that creativity isn't about what you buy, it's about what you notice, what you choose to love again. So, if you've got a bag of colorful lids and a quiet afternoon, you also have a garden masterpiece waiting to happen. Next, we'll stay with reflective wonder, creating a mirrored CD shard mosaic frame that turns light into decoration and old CDs into moments of sparkling grace. There's something enchanting about how light dances across water through leaves or reflected off a tiny mirror. It flutters, glimmers, and catches your eye in the most unexpected ways. And today's project is all about capturing that soft, magical sparkle with a touch of elegance and a whole lot of reuse. We're making a mirrored CD shard mosaic frame, a piece that looks like garden art from a boutique but costs just a few dollars and a little care. Start by finding an old picture frame from Dollar Tree, preferably one with a wide border. Then gather a few CDs or DVDs you no longer use. The shinier, the better. Their rainbow sheen is what brings the magic. Now, before we begin, a little note on safety. We'll be breaking the CDs into shards, so it's best to wear gloves and eye protection. Wrap a CD in a dish towel and gently snap it with your hands, or a firm press, no hammer needed. It will break into small, irregular pieces with that signature shimmer. Once you have a good collection of CD pieces, lay out your frame on a flat surface. Remove the glass and backing if you'd like to replace them with something weather-resistant or leave them in for indoor or covered porch display. Now start placing the CD shards along the frame border like building a stained glass window. Each piece catches the light differently, some with purples, others with greens, and many with that soft silver-blue glow that feels like moonlight. Use a hot glue gun or strong craft adhesive to secure each shard. There's no right or wrong pattern here. Let your hands decide where each piece belongs. You'll find a rhythm in it, and perhaps a bit of reflection too. Once finished, let it dry completely. If you like, you can place a piece of mirrored cardstock inside the frame, or a simple nature photo, or leave it open to catch light through the gaps, letting the glass shimmer on its own. Hang your finished mosaic on a porch wall garden fence or under a covered pergola. Watch how it catches the morning sun or twinkles softly at twilight. And maybe, just maybe, someone will ask where you bought such a beautiful piece. And you'll smile, remembering the CDs tucked away in a drawer. Remembering how your hands, steady and wise, gave them a new life. There's something deeply symbolic in this piece. CDs once filled with songs or family videos, now broken, reshaped, and transformed. Not lost, just different. They shine in fragments, and maybe we do too. At this stage in life, we've gathered our own reflections. Some smooth, some sharp, some filled with color. All of them part of the whole. So hang this frame as a reminder: broken doesn't mean finished. It means sparkling in a different way. Next, we'll invite a few fluttering guests into the garden with a teacup bird feeder that's as charming and graceful as a handwritten note from an old friend. Have you ever watched a bird land softly on a branch, tilt its little head, and begin to sing as if the garden were a stage made just for it? There's a kind of grace in that unplanned, unasked for yet freely given. And today's project invites that grace right into your yard: a teacup bird feeder made from a humble Dollar Tree find and a touch of charm. To start, you'll need a ceramic teacup and saucer. Dollar Tree often has the prettiest little ones, floral or simple white, just waiting to be loved. You'll also need a strong craft adhesive. E6000 works well, and a chain or sturdy wire for hanging, perhaps rescued from an old hanging planter or an unused necklace. Begin by gently gluing the teacup to the center of the saucer, tilted slightly forward as if it's ready to pour. This angle will allow birds to perch comfortably while pecking at the seeds inside. Let the glue dry completely. Take your time. Maybe enjoy a real cup of tea while it sets with a bit of music or a window breeze. Once dry, attach your chain or wire securely to the saucer. You can loop it through small holes if your saucer has them, or use a strong adhesive to bond the chain to the underside. The goal is a gentle cradle, one that sways just a bit in the wind, but stays balanced enough for your feathered guests. Now fill your teacup with bird seed, just a sprinkle at first. Then hang it from a tree branch, a shepherd's hook, or even near a kitchen window if you'd like a front row seat to the show. Soon you'll see finches, wrens, or even a bold cardinal stopping by for a nibble. Their visits are brief but full of meaning, like little blessings carried on wings. This feeder doesn't just nourish the birds, it nourishes the soul. Because in making this, you're saying something quietly profound. You are welcome here. You matter. This is a garden of kindness. And there's a sweetness in knowing that something once meant for quiet tea time, a cup that perhaps reminded you of your mother's kitchen or a rainy afternoon with a good book, now serves a new purpose in the open air. This project is gentle on the body. No digging, no hammering. Just a bit of glue, a bit of balance, and a bit of heart. And when you see the birds come and go, you'll feel it, that flicker of joy, that old warmth of being part of something larger. Because when we give with open hands, even small things like a teacup in a tree can become beautiful acts of hospitality. Next, we'll keep the welcome going with an earthy delight: pine cone peanut butter feeders, a nostalgic craft that's perfect for connecting with birds, grandkids, and your own gentle memories. Do you remember making these in childhood? Or perhaps with your own kids or grandkids, tiny hands smearing peanut butter on pine cones, giggling as bird seeds scattered across the table. There's something wonderfully nostalgic about this next project. It's simple, it's joyful, and it bridges generations. Pine cone peanut butter feeders. Begin by gathering a few pine cones. If you're lucky enough to have a tree nearby, take a little stroll and pick a few that are open and dry. If not, Dollar Tree often carries them in seasonal decor, and they'll work just as well. You'll also need a jar of peanut butter, a bag of birdseed, and some string or twine. For a clever little touch, you can also use old bread tags, the kind that once sealed a loaf of sandwich bread, as handy labels or hanging tabs. This project is a treat to do at the kitchen table. Lay down a piece of wax paper or an old dish towel. Then, using a spoon or butter knife, spread peanut butter into all the nooks and crannies of each pine cone. You don't have to be neat. In fact, a little messiness makes it more fun. Once they're generously coated, roll the pine cones in birdseed, pressing gently so it sticks. You'll feel like a child again, crafting something simple and sweet just for the joy of it. After they're coated, tie a loop of string around the top of each cone, using a bread tag if you'd like for an added rustic charm. Now they're ready to hang from a branch, a fence post, or even a shepherd's hook outside your window. These feeders attract all kinds of grateful visitors: sparrows, chickadees, maybe even a shy woodpecker or two. And as you watch them flutter and feast, you'll feel something awaken inside, that sense of connection, not just to nature, but to the quiet, enduring rhythm of life. Because this project isn't just about feeding birds. It's about remembering how good it feels to give, to create with your hands, to take what's already around you, a pine cone, some string, a little seed, and turn it into an offering of welcome. It's a wonderful activity to share with grandchildren, neighbors, or simply to do alone on a peaceful afternoon. No heavy lifting, no bending or straining. Just a gentle, satisfying craft that brings life to your garden and a sense of warmth to your heart. And when you see a little bird stop by, pause and peck happily at what you've made, you'll know you've done something kind. You've said without words, there's room here, there's love here, just like we always hoped our gardens and our lives would say. Next, we'll head back into vertical beauty with a project that maximizes space with grace: the basket-tiered planter. A blooming tower of blooms, perfect for patios, balconies, and anyone working with just a little square of earth. Not everyone has sprawling yards or raised garden beds. Many of us, especially these days, are working with porches, patios, or just one sunny corner of a balcony. But here's the secret: we gardeners know a little space filled with care can grow a world of beauty. That's why this next project is such a treasure. It builds up, not out, giving you more room for blooms, herbs, or even trailing vines without taking up precious ground. It's called a basket-tiered planter, and it's perfect for turning small spaces into living works of art. You'll need 3 plastic baskets from Dollar Tree, ideally in small, medium, and large sizes, so they nest like a little garden staircase. You'll also need a sturdy rod to run through the center. An old broomstick or garden stake works perfectly, and a few zip ties for stability. Start by drilling or cutting a small hole through the center of each basket's bottom. Take your time here. You can use a sharp utility knife or a drill with a gentle hand. Then slide the largest basket onto the broomstick. First, it will form your base. Add a dollop of hot glue or a zip tie underneath to hold it in place. Next comes the medium basket, secured a little above the first, then finally the smallest on top. Each level becomes its own planting zone, like steps in a secret garden. If you're placing this on a porch or balcony, you can fill the bottom with sand or stones for added weight. Or if you have a garden bed, simply push the bottom of the rod into the ground. Now for the fun part: planting. Fill each tier with rich soil and your favorite plants. Herbs like basil and mint thrive in the middle. The top tier is perfect for a little splash of color, maybe marigolds or violas. And the lower tier could be home to trailing plants like creeping jenny or sweet alyssum that will gently spill over the sides like a soft waterfall. This vertical beauty not only makes the most of your space, it also puts your plants at eye level, making them easier to water, harvest, and admire. And because the baskets are lightweight, you can build the whole thing seated with no heavy lifting or bending. It's a garden project that's both gentle and joyful, just how we like it. But there's more to it than that. There's something deeply symbolic about stacking those baskets layer upon layer, building upward. It reminds us that growth doesn't always spread wide. Sometimes it rises quietly, one piece at a time, just like we've done in life. With each season, each experience, each new bloom, we've built something strong, something full of beauty. This tiered planter is a reflection of that journey. A little structure, a little balance, a whole lot of love. Next, we'll continue the vertical magic with a charming upcycled idea: the bottle tower garden, where soda bottles become blooming columns of life, perfect for herbs and succulents in the smallest of spaces. Do you ever look at an empty plastic bottle and think, there must be something I can do with this? That kind of thinking, creative, gentle, wise, is what makes gardens like yours so special. because you see possibility in the everyday. And today, we're building something both beautiful and efficient from those very bottles, a bottle tower garden. It's a vertical planting system that uses space, smartly grows herbs or succulents with ease, and gives a whole new purpose to what might have been tossed away. Here's what you'll need. Several 2-liter soda bottles, clean and label-free. Zip ties available at Dollar Tree. A sturdy garden stake or a thick wooden dowel. Start by cutting a rectangular opening on the side of each bottle about 3 inches wide and 5 inches long. This will be your planting window. Make sure to leave the cap on for now and poke a few drainage holes near the cap using a nail or the tip of your scissors. Once all your bottles are prepped, begin attaching them to the garden stake. Start at the bottom, zip tying the first bottle horizontally to the stake label side down. Then stack the next bottle just above it, angling it slightly so the top one doesn't block sunlight from the one below. Continue until you've used all your bottles, forming a column of little green pockets. You can secure each bottle not just to the stake, but also to the ones above and below it for extra stability. It might look like a piece of garden sculpture when you're done, and in a way it is. Now fill each bottle cavity with soil, gently patting it in with a spoon or your fingers. This part is especially satisfying, tiny containers of promise one after another. For plants, herbs are an excellent choice. Thyme, oregano, parsley, or even baby lettuce if you're feeling adventurous. Succulents also do beautifully here, needing little water and offering charming shapes and textures. Once planted, place your tower in a sunny spot near a fence balcony rail or the side of your porch. It takes up almost no floor space, but gives you a lush little wall of life to enjoy. And every time you snip a bit of basil for your soup or see a bumblebee stop by your thyme blossoms, you'll feel that quiet pride that comes from making something useful, something kind out of the simplest things. This is a project that's gentle on the body. No digging, no hauling bags of soil, just a few bottles a bit of tying and a peaceful moment of planting. You can do it all from a chair in the shade, hand steady, heart light. But the most beautiful part, it's what this garden says. That nothing is wasted. That new life can grow in unexpected places. That small spaces like small gestures can hold great meaning. Just like you, this bottle garden is a quiet marvel, sturdy, creative, and full of life. Next, we'll shift from practical to playful with a delightful, low-maintenance creation, the Painted Rock Cactus Garden, a whimsical desert-themed decor idea that thrives in sunshine and never needs watering. There's something irresistibly charming about a cactus, all those playful shapes and little spines, standing tall even in the hottest sun. But let's be honest, not all of us want to deal with thorns or finicky watering schedules. That's where this next project comes, in a painted rock cactus garden that's cheerful, quirky, and delightfully low maintenance. You won't need a green thumb for this one. Just a few smooth river rocks, a bit of acrylic paint, and your own imagination. Start by selecting your cactus stones. Dollar Tree sells bags of river rocks, and you can also gather some from your garden if you prefer. Look for ones that are oval or round shapes that could pass for a chubby cactus, a paddle, or even a prickly pear pad. The more variety, the better. Next, you'll need some green acrylic paints and maybe a touch of white, pink, or yellow for details. Lay out some newspaper or a craft mat, put on your favorite music, and start painting. Coat each rock in a shade of green, sage, emerald, avocado, whatever speaks to you. Once they're dry, use a fine-tip brush or even a toothpick to add spines and ridges. You can dot little white lines, paint faux ribs, or add delicate pink flowers on top with a dab of color. This part is pure joy. It's quiet work, meditative. Something you can do sitting comfortably at a table with the sunlight warming your back. Once your cactus rocks are finished and fully dry, it's time to plant them. Choose small terracotta pots from Dollar Tree, the kind that would fit neatly on a porch railing, windowsill, or patio table. Fill them with pebbles, sand, or even moss if you prefer a desert meets woodland look. Then nestle in your painted cacti, arranging them at different angles so they look natural and full of life. If you want to get extra creative, you can glue a few of the rocks together into little cactus clusters or paint tiny ladybugs on one side. Add a small tag that says "No watering required," and you'll surely get a smile from every guest who visits. These pots make lovely centerpieces or whimsical accents for fairy gardens. You can place one on your outdoor table, one beside a bird feeder, or even give them as gifts to friends who love gardening but can't always keep up with the watering. What's beautiful about this project isn't just its charm, it's the freedom it gives. No bending over flower beds. No worrying about sunlight or soil pH. Just the simple act of creating beauty from stone. And isn't that a metaphor for life? We take what's hard, what others see as cold or ordinary, and with a little paint, a little patience, we turn it into something full of personality. This little cactus garden says I'm still blooming, just in my own way. Next, we'll stay with that playful spirit, crafting tin can robot sculptures using bits and pieces from around the house. Quirky, fun, and full of heart, these little companions add a smile to any flower bed or patio nook. Some days, it's the little frustrations that add up: the missing trowel, the clippers you just had in your hand, the gloves that vanish right when you're ready to dig. Wouldn't it be lovely to have all your garden essentials tidy and within arm's reach? This next project is a true quiet helper, something that brings a bit of peace and order to your gardening rhythm. It's the hanging mesh tool organizer, and it's as simple as it is satisfying. To begin, pick up a mesh laundry bag from Dollar Tree. These bags are surprisingly sturdy and already come with a handy hook or loop for hanging. You'll also need a few S-hooks, also from Dollar Tree, an old plastic cutting board for support, and hot glue or craft adhesive. Start by laying the bag flat on your work surface. Using scissors, carefully cut it into sections to create several horizontal mesh pockets. These will be the little homes for your tools, one for gloves, one for pruning shears, one for seed packets. You can even label them if you like, using a bit of fabric marker or a tag. Next, take your plastic cutting board and cut it into a few strips. These will serve as the frame to give your organizer structure. Glue or stitch the edges of your mesh pockets onto these strips so they stay firm and don't sag. Once assembled, use your S-hooks to hang the organizer on a patio wall, the back of a garden shed door, or even a balcony railing. It's lightweight and compact, and everything stays right where you left it. You don't have to bend down or dig through a cluttered bin. Your gloves are aired out. Your tools are easy to grab, and suddenly gardening feels just a little more joyful again. This project is especially friendly to those with limited mobility. Everything can be done seated, the cutting, gluing, even the hanging. And the finished piece keeps your tools at waist or eye level, reducing the need to crouch or stretch. But more than that, this little organizer brings a kind of grace to your space. It tells your garden, I'm here, I'm ready, I've made room for you. And it tells you that even in life's smaller tasks, putting away, tidying up there is beauty. Because tending the garden isn't just about growing plants. It's about tending yourself too. And when your tools are lined up neatly, when your hands are free from searching, you can focus on what matters most. Feeling the sun on your shoulders, the dirt under your nails, and the quiet pride that says, I built this life with care. Next, we'll explore another thoughtful and flexible storage solution, the upcycled crate planter. Stand, a charming tiered display for your favorite pots that's both budget-friendly and beautiful. Sometimes what we need most isn't something brand new, it's a new way of looking at what we already have. That's the heart of this next idea, the upcycled crate planter stand. It's practical, flexible, and oh so friendly to both your needs and your budget. To begin, look for a plastic crate from Dollar Tree, the kind used for storing books or laundry. You'll also want a few old plastic bottles like 2-liter soda bottles and some zip ties. We're going to create a tiered plant stand that's both sturdy and portable, perfect for patios, decks, or even indoor sunrooms. First, turn the crate on its side so the open face is facing forward. This will become the first shelf. Now, if you have more than one crate, you can stack them, just zip tie them together securely at the corners. 3 high is a great height for easy access without bending too low. For stability, take your plastic bottles and fill them with sand or small rocks. These will serve as anchors inside the bottom crate. Place them toward the back so your stand won't tip forward when holding pots. Next, place your favorite potted plants inside each crate opening. You can use terracotta pots, painted cans, or even small fabric planters. Herbs like basil and chives are perfect here, within easy reach and always ready to flavor your next soup or sandwich. If you'd like add decorative touches, line the inside with fabric wrap twine around the crate handles, or label each tier with a chalkboard sign like Herbs Bloom or Welcome. This project is gentle in every way. It requires no tools beyond scissors and zip ties, and everything can be assembled from a seated position. You can do it slowly with music playing or the breeze moving through your curtains, sipping tea as you go. Once finished, the crate stand becomes not just a display, but a statement. It says, "Here is what I've grown. Here is what I've cared for." And it brings your plants to a level that honors your body. No crouching, no kneeling. Just joy. Place it by your front door to greet guests with greenery. Tuck it beside your favorite chair for a cozy garden corner. Or bring it indoors near a sunny window when the season turns cool. You see, this isn't just about storage. It's about elevation, literally and figuratively. It's about taking what's ordinary, a crate, a bottle, a plant, and giving it a little lift, a little purpose, a little love. And isn't that what we're all doing in this season of life? Lifting what matters, letting go of what doesn't, making space for joy. So go ahead, stack your crates, fill them with life, and smile every time you walk by. You made this with your hands, your wisdom, and your imagination. Next, we'll bring bold color and joyful whimsy to your outdoor space. With a bottle cap fence mosaic, a dazzling way to turn discarded bits into a blooming, permanent work of art. Have you ever looked at a blank wooden fence and thought, this could be something more, a canvas maybe, a story waiting to be told? With this next idea, the bottle cap fence mosaic, you'll turn something plain into something joyful, colorful, and absolutely one of a kind. The best part. It starts with what most people toss away: plastic bottle caps. Begin by gathering a wide array of colorful caps: red, green, yellow, blue, white. You can collect them from juice bottles, water bottles, even laundry detergent lids. If you need more, Dollar Tree sometimes carries caps in craft kits, or you might ask friends and neighbors to save a few for you. You'll also need a strong craft adhesive and a smooth, clean fence panel or wooden board. This could be the back of a shed, a garden gate, or even a repurposed pallet propped up in the yard. Before you begin gluing, take a quiet moment to lay out your design. You can create a pattern like a sunburst, a row of flowers, or even an abstract wave of color. Or keep it simple with spirals and stripes. If you're feeling bold, sketch your design with chalk directly onto the wood first. If not, let your fingers find the flow. There's no wrong way to do it. Once you've arranged your caps, begin gluing them one by one. You can do this while sitting comfortably, slowly, and peacefully. There's no rush. The act itself becomes a kind of meditation, piece by piece, color by color, bringing something vibrant to life. As the caps take shape on the fence, you'll begin to see something beautiful emerge, a mosaic that catches the eye and makes people smile. Neighbors may stop and ask what it is. Children might point at it with curiosity. And you'll look at it and remember how you turned everyday pieces into a permanent bloom. This project isn't just decorative, it's deeply symbolic. Each cap had a first purpose: sealing, preserving, serving. But now it serves again in a different way. Just like us, this mosaic becomes a celebration of second chances, of seeing beauty where others see used, of building joy not by spending but by imagining. And best of all, it requires no digging, no bending, just time, color, and heart. You can do it in small sessions, a few caps a day, and watch the art unfold over time like a flower opening slowly in the sun. So, if you have a bare fence and a basket of caps, you also have a masterpiece waiting to happen. One that says, this space is loved, this space is alive. Next, we'll create a sweet, gentle border for flower beds or fairy gardens, the bamboo skewer fairy fence. A whimsical accent made from craft beads and recycled lids that adds charm without strain. Do you remember when the world felt just a little more magical, when a ring of mushrooms meant fairies had danced in the night and a tiny garden path might lead to secret places? Well, that childlike wonder never really leaves us. And this next project brings a bit of it back. It's called the bamboo skewer fairy fence, a petite, playful border made from the simplest things, yet full of charm. Perfect for flower beds, miniature gardens, or just a smile when you walk by. To begin, you'll need a pack of bamboo skewers from Dollar Tree, the kind used for grilling, now destined for enchantment. You'll also need some colorful plastic craft beads and a few old plastic lids, the kind you might find on yogurt tubs or oatmeal containers. Start by laying out your skewers. Decide how long you want your fence to be. Each skewer becomes a tiny fence post, and the beads become the cheerful little finials on top. One by one, hot glue or slide a bead onto the pointy end of each skewer. You can alternate colors, go full rainbow, or stick with soft tones, whatever brings you joy. It's like stringing together a row of tiny lollipops, each one catching the light in its own way. Next, take your old plastic lids and flip them upside down. These will be the base that holds your skewers upright. Glue the blunt end of each skewer into the lid, either in a straight line or a gentle curve like a garden gate. Let everything dry completely. Now comes the fun part, placing your fairy fence. You can nestle it around a small patch of flowers, tuck it into a pot of petunias, or use it to edge a fairy garden with little mushrooms and moss. It doesn't need to be functional. It's purely for delight. And yet it does something important. It invites imagination back into the garden. This project is gentle on the hands and easy to complete while sitting. You don't need to bend, dig, or lift anything heavy. Just bead sticks and a little creativity, like a craft from long ago done with a friend over lemonade and conversation. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? This little fence may be small, but it marks something big, your choice to keep creating, to keep believing in beauty, to make space for whimsy in a world that sometimes forgets. So when you pass by and see those beads glinting in the sun, or when a grandchild asks, "Do fairies live there?" you'll smile. Because part of you will always know, yes, they do. Or at least the kind of magic that lives in loving hands and joyful hearts does. Next, we'll care for our plants in clever, budget-friendly ways with the drip bottle system, a self-watering solution that's smart, sustainable, and wonderfully easy to create. Some of the best garden ideas don't shout, they whisper. They don't dazzle with color or shape, but instead bring quiet peace because they make life a little easier. The drip bottle system is exactly that kind of whisper. Simple, gentle, reliable. It's a self-watering solution made from the most ordinary of items, a plastic bottle, a funnel, and a little time. And it can make all the difference when your hands are tired or the summer sun is strong. Start with a plastic water bottle, any size will do, but one with a narrow neck and cap works best. You'll also want a small funnel. Dollar Tree has them in kitchen packs and a nail or push pin to create a small hole in the cap. Now, here's where the magic begins. Carefully heat the nail over a candle or stove flame, use pliers and caution, then gently poke a small hole in the center of the bottle cap. This will control how slowly the water releases. If you prefer not to use heat, you can use a sturdy sewing needle. It just takes a little more patience. Next, cut off the bottom of the bottle so you can pour water into it later. Keep the shape smooth, you can even sand the edge lightly so it doesn't snag on anything. Once your bottle is ready, take it to your garden. Choose a plant that needs regular watering, a tomato in a container, a pot of marigolds, a basil plant that wilts when you forget. Bury the bottle neck down near the base of the plant, leaving the open top sticking out of the soil like a little spout. Then insert your funnel and pour water in. The bottle will slowly drip water into the soil right at the root zone, keeping the plant hydrated without drowning it. No need to hover with a hose. No fear of forgetting during a busy day. Just steady, gentle care. This method is especially helpful if you live in a hot climate, travel occasionally, or simply want to reduce how often you bend and lift. You can even make a few of them at once and use them throughout your raised beds or potted garden. And there's something deeply comforting in knowing your plants are still being cared for even while you rest. Because this little bottle says, "I've got you," just like you've said to so many in your life. And isn't that what good gardening is really about? Not control, but relationship. Not striving, but partnering with nature. With this humble drip system, you're not just saving water. You're honoring the rhythm of the garden, slow, steady, nourishing. And it reminds us even the smallest adjustments, the tiniest holes, can bring great relief. Even the most ordinary object, a plastic bottle, can become a vessel for care, just like us. Next, we'll add another simple yet clever tool to your outdoor space. A DIY rain gauge made from a plastic bottle, perfect for tuning into the weather, tracking rainfall, and caring for your garden with intention. There's a quiet joy in watching the weather, in listening to the gentle tap of rain on the porch roof, in stepping outside afterward and seeing the garden glisten like it's just been kissed. This next project lets you turn that wonder into wisdom with a DIY rain gauge made from something as simple as a clear plastic bottle. Start by finding a bottle with straight sides. A water bottle or juice bottle works well. You'll also need a ruler, a permanent marker, and a pair of scissors. Begin by removing any labels and cutting off the top third of the bottle. Set that top portion aside for now, you'll use it again soon. Now take your ruler and measure from the bottom of the bottle upward, marking every ½ inch or centimeter depending on what you prefer. Use your permanent marker to draw clear dark lines, and don't forget to label them numerically. This will let you see exactly how much rain has fallen. If you'd like to be extra precise, pour an inch of water into the bottle and mark it as a starting point. That way you can be sure your measurements are accurate and your base is flat. Now invert the top section of the bottle and place it like a funnel back into the open base. It helps prevent splash out and keeps debris from getting in. You can tape it in place or leave it loose so it's easy to remove for emptying and cleaning. Place your finished rain gauge in a level spot outdoors, somewhere open and away from overhanging eaves or trees that might skew the results. Nestle it into the soil of a garden bed or set it into a pot with some rocks for weight. And now you wait. When the skies open and rain begins to fall, you'll know exactly how much your garden received. You can track it in a little notebook or simply glance and smile, knowing the earth has been given its drink. It's such a simple tool, but it connects you to the rhythms of nature in a beautiful way. No guessing whether to water that day. No wondering if your tomatoes are getting enough. Just knowledge and peace of mind. It's also a wonderful project to share with children or grandchildren. They'll love watching the levels rise, and you'll have a new way to share what it means to listen to the land. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself more in tune with the weather, with your plants, and with the flow of seasons. Because that's what gardening teaches us again and again. To observe, to wait, to trust the cycles. This little bottle marked by your hand becomes a symbol of quiet awareness, of tuning in rather than rushing through. And even on the days when no rain falls, your rain gauge still stands ready, hopeful. Just like you. Next, we'll illuminate your pathways with soft, dreamlike charm in the form of glow-in-the-dark pebble paths, adding magic to your garden even after the sun has gone down. There's something magical about a garden at night. The way shadows deepen, the breeze cools, and everything seems to slow down. You don't need bright lights or high-tech gadgets to enjoy it. Sometimes all it takes is a soft shimmer underfoot. That's exactly what this next project offers: glow-in-the-dark pebble paths. They're peaceful, practical, and surprisingly easy to make, turning ordinary stones into tiny beacons that gently light your way through the evening. Begin by picking up a bag of decorative pebbles from Dollar Tree. Choose smooth, flat ones if you can. They're easier to paint and arrange. You'll also need glow-in-the-dark paint available at most craft stores or online. Look for garden-safe varieties if your pebbles will be outdoors year-round. Set yourself up at a comfortable table or workbench and spread out your pebbles on a layer of newspaper or an old tray. Shake your paint well, then begin coating each pebble with a brush or sponge. You can apply one thick coat or several thin ones. Just be sure to cover each pebble fully so they'll glow brightly after absorbing sunlight. Allow them to dry completely in a well-lit space. Once dry, you can go back and add another coat if you like. Some folks even paint patterned spiral stars or tiny moon phases for a bit of extra magic. Now comes the fun part: placing them. Line your garden path with these glowing pebbles. You don't need many, just a scattering along the edges like fireflies guiding your way. Or place a circle around your favorite potted plant, nestle a few among your herbs, or tuck them under the lip of your bird bath. They'll charge in the daylight and glow for hours once the sun sets, a gentle green-blue twinkle that makes your whole garden feel alive, even in stillness. And what's especially lovely about this project is how gentle it is on your hands, your body, and your time. There's no digging, no heavy lifting, just painting, placing, and watching light return. In the quiet dark, these pebbles offer more than just visibility. They offer presence. Each one is a reminder to notice your steps, to walk a little slower, to enjoy your garden not just in daylight but in the hush of night when frogs sing and wind chimes whisper. They say even in the dark there is light waiting. Much like us, they shine best after soaking up warmth. So whether you're stepping out after supper or simply looking out the window before bed, these little pebbles will be there, glowing gently, guiding you home. Next, we'll continue the twilight beauty with CD disc stepping stones, sparkling garden pavers made from old discs, and a bit of plaster, giving your garden path both color and shimmer. Some things, when they age, don't fade, they shimmer, like a beloved silver teapot, or your favorite ring warmed by years of touch. Today's garden project is a celebration of that same kind of beauty. CD disc stepping stones made from what others might throw away and transformed into something that catches the light with every step. If you still have a few old CDs or DVDs tucked away in a drawer, the ones too scratched to play but too shiny to toss, you're halfway there. You'll also need a large plastic plate. Dollar Tree has great ones in their picnic section, some plaster of Paris, a mixing container, and of course your imagination. Start by gently snapping the CDs into smaller pieces. You can wrap each one in an old towel and press down, no need for scissors or tools. The irregular shapes are exactly what make the final design so captivating. Just remember to wear gloves and eye protection if you're handling sharp edges. Now mix your plaster according to the instructions. It should be thick but pourable like pancake batter. Pour a thin, even layer into your plastic plate, which will serve as the mold for your stepping stone. Tap the sides gently to release any bubbles. Before the plaster sets, start pressing your CD pieces gently into the surface, shiny side up. You can create a mosaic sunburst, a spiral, or a scattered pattern. Let your instincts guide you. The more light they catch, the more they'll sparkle beneath the garden sky. Let the plaster dry completely, at least overnight. Once it's hardened, gently remove your stepping stone from the mold. You'll be amazed at how something so simple becomes something so elegant. Place these shimmering stones along a garden path between planters or in a quiet meditation corner of your yard. You can make one at a time or several to form a winding walkway, each one unique like pages in a story. Only you can tell. What makes this project so meaningful is not just the beauty it brings, but the spirit behind it. A scratched CD, no longer useful for music, finds a new rhythm in your garden. A plastic plate meant for a picnic becomes the cradle for something lasting. Your hands, perhaps a bit slower now, still shape light into art. And when someone walks across your stepping stones, perhaps a grandchild with sticky fingers or a friend visiting for tea, they'll be stepping not just on stone, but on memory, on care, on quiet creativity. And you'll know that even small things when placed with love can light the way. Because in this life we don't always get to start fresh, but we do get to make something beautiful with what's already in our hands. Next, we'll turn our attention to vertical beauty with hanging bottle terrariums, gentle lightweight displays that bring greenery to any wall window or balcony rail. And now, dear friend, as the sun dips low and the garden settles into its evening hush, let's take a quiet breath together. We've wandered through so many ideas today. Simple ones, joyful ones, each built not on money or youth, but on imagination, kindness, and the wisdom that comes from years well lived. From painted rocks that never need watering to solar jars that catch the last golden light of day. From old crates turned into blooming towers to spoons that now whisper the names of your herbs. Every project we explored is a soft reminder. You are still growing, not in the way the world measures, not in speed or trend or flash, but in something deeper. In how you see beauty in small things. In how your hands still know how to care. It doesn't matter if your space is big or small, whether you have a yard or just a balcony, whether you're full of energy or move a little slower now. You still have the power to create something beautiful, one gentle moment at a time. Because what you touch becomes meaningful. What you tend becomes alive. And what you love, truly love, becomes a reflection of who you are. So, if there was even one idea today that made your heart stir, maybe a teacup feeder, or a glowing pebble path, or a crate full of basil by the door, hold on to it. Try it. Let it be your next little joy. And when you do, please know, you're not just decorating a garden. You're building peace. You're crafting hope. One spoon, one cap, one flower at a time. Which idea brought you the most joy today? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you'd like more gentle inspiration for your garden, your hands and your heart, feel free to subscribe. This channel will always be a soft place to land. Until next time, dear friend, happy gardening. And remember, your hands still create beauty. Your spirit still plants light. And your garden, just like you, is full of second chances.